Playoffs? What's that? You kidding me? What's that? Playoffs? What's that? You kidding me? What's that? Well, I'll start off by saying this. You ain't gonna beat anybody. A high school team? Anybody. A junior college team? Anybody. A college team? Much less an NFL team. I don't care who you play. Okay? When you turn the ball over five times, you ain't gonna beat anybody. 4 interceptions. Do not blame. 1 for a touchdown. Do not blame. 3 others in field position to set up touchdowns. Do not blame that game on the defense. We threw that game. We gave it away. We threw that game. We gave them the friggin' game. Friggin' game. Friggin' game. Talk about playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Hello and welcome everybody to Friday Night Fights. It is the playoffs in 2 of our series, and we have 2 playoff games for you. I'm joined tonight by SilverTFox and Saku. How are you 2 feeling tonight?
Pretty good.
Go ahead, dude. My head to turn my mute off there.
Same here. Pretty good. How about yourself, Mayanadon?
I'm feeling great. We have 2 great matches, like I alluded to. We have one for the Legacy Series quarterfinals coming up right now in a couple of minutes. It'll be ItsMeMikeV, who is 4-4 on the season, brought his Druid Hunter Rogue Warrior against BOOZASAURUS, who is also 4-4 on the season, and he brought Hunter Mage Rogue Warrior. These 2 are going to be duking it out. With a win for the Galakronies, it puts them in a really good spot, the Galakronies being BOOZASAURUS' team, against good luck Albatrosses, Mike's team. They're currently ahead, the Galakronies 4-0, with a sweep that Sage was able to do earlier this week. But like I said, if Booz manages to get the win, it'll put them in a really good position where they only have to win one more match, I believe, to seal the semifinals. So really important for both teams here.
100%. Yep.
But yeah, let's take a look at these classes a little bit. I did mention, so it's going to be for Mike, the Druid Hunter Rogue Warrior, and for Booz, the Hunter Mage Rogue Warrior. So the big difference there being the Mage versus the Druid. I think, I lean towards Booz on this one, but it's going to be close. What do you guys think?
I also lead towards Booz. This class is kind of like Mage directly can counter Druid, and the Rogue is always just a strong pick. Same with Warrior. So maybe I think what we're gonna end up seeing is just a Hunter ban, I feel like, from either player. And so I'm feeling like the classes that Booz brought are a little bit more just countery towards the Mike's classes.
So you think?
Yeah, no, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Druid's going to be like Mike's I guess make or break kind of deal in this matchup. So
I do think the Druid does quite well into 2 of the most popular decks, the Rogue and the Warrior, which Booz does have. If you bring Quest Druid, or and Biggin's not bad either, but I think both of those Druid options do quite well. Into those, it's just the Mage and the Hunter that might give some problems. I could see a Hunter ban for Mike for sure, but I do think Booz could go several different ways depending on what he expects the ban to be or what he expects the brings to be. He could go for a Warrior ban, and bring sort of a little bit more of an aggressive style, or he'd go for a Druid ban, just trying to avoid getting those bad matches with the Rogue and the Warrior, or a Hunter ban, like you said. So I expect there might be some variety depending on what Booz expects, but I do think we will see at least one Hunter ban in this matchup on one of the sides.
all right. Well, we do have the bans in, so
Okay, let's see if we were right.
So the bans will be he banned Mike V banned BOOZASAURUS's Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
and Booze banned Druid.
Okay.
There you
So-
go.
It was the Druid ban, like you predicted.
Yeah, so I think the Hunter might be the one that is going to be difficult for Booze, where on the side of of Mike, I think that if he manages, maybe the Mage actually might be difficult, except for the Hunter can get there, but the other decks might struggle a little bit. So we'll see what happens here as they start jumping into the game.
All right, I'm just going to tell the players to get rolling since we got the bands going. And
Yeah. Absolutely. Are there any archetypes you guys are expecting? We do expect probably, just standard kind of Galakrond rogues and warriors. Although there are Highlander variants that might have some use here. And then I do expect the Highlander mage for Booze. Cyclone has sort of seen a little bit of a resurgence, but definitely not a favorite, and certainly not into leaving up the rogue and the warrior. So I do think we'll see Highlander mage there, and then it's a question of which hunter we're going to see for Mike.
I assume it's going to be a dragon, but Highlander is a pretty good option as well.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, and I actually think Quest might have some good options as well. So quite a few potentials there with the Dragon, Highlander, and Quest. I do think Dragon seems to be a favorite these days, but Highlander might be a little bit better into this lineup. So we'll see what they decide to do.
All right. So I just told the players they can start going. So
Excellent.
Nice.
Just before they jump in, I'll mention the second match we have lined up. So stick around for that one. After this match, it's going to be the Hero Series semifinals of Disco. Actually, you know what? I'll talk about that later because it looks like we are in game.
Yep. So we're gonna have BOOZASAURUS on the bottom. We're doing Legacy Series if it wasn't announced earlier, but which is Conquest.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, this is the Legacy Series quarterfinals. Legacy Series is a Conquest format with closed deck lists, so it will be the best of 5 here with the one ban.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing a Galakron warrior from Booze, and then I believe that is a Highlander hunter.
Yeah, let me see.
It's running Fellwing though, so that could mean it's dragon as well.
It could be either at this point. I didn't actually manage to catch them all again, so I didn't see if we saw any duplicates. Tolvir does make me feel like it might be Highlander, but I have seen people just want more 2-drops, and
Snip Snap also makes me feel kind of Highlandery.
Yeah, I do tend to lean. I think it is Highlander. I actually would be curious to see if we coin out this Fairy Dragon here to set up for a Fellwing turn 2 with the Fairy Dragon hero power, and I think
we're gonna see the Tolvir.
That's actually interesting.
I think that still works. It gets you.
It does the same thing,
Fellwing,
I suppose, but it does mean you can deal with fewer minions that the warrior likes to play. We didn't see them on one, but if a Eternium Rover or something was top decked, or Town Crier, I guess in the Eternium Rover's case, the Fairy Dragon would have, traded better with that if it were to be left up. But now we're going to see, I imagine, the Tolvir hero power to set up the Fellwing.
Yep. We might. I highly doubt it. I mean, we could see a Fairy Dragon here to set up for the Stormbringer on the next turn, so the Stormbringer doesn't lose durability. But
What to
at the same time,
yeah,
that's what we're gonna
That's what
see.
we're gonna see. Yeah.
Setup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that. You can still get this Fellwing down next turn and have the Stormhammer as well. So, not a bad play.
And that kind of contests, I feel, a little
the
bit.
Bomb Wrangler as well. So yeah, I like that play.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is for sure the Highlander variant because of Unleash the Hound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we'll see. does choose to trade into this just to make sure you only get 1 bomb rather than the 2. And you don't lose the durability, so I like that quite a lot. Now we do have the Devoted Maniac, which is going to help deal with a lot of this. You can swing your face into the 2-3, and then you can choose to double swing into the 3-3 and potentially hit the 3-2. A couple more chances to clear, or just swing the 2-2 in and go face with the 1-1. I think I kind of like going for the 3 health minion here. I don't like doing this first though, because if you had hit the 3-2 with 1 damage, or I guess if he makes 2 3-2s, he can always trade one of them off. But I think increasing the odds there. It's maybe a good play. So let's see here. We do have the Dragon Bane available. I think that's just one of the best cards in the deck, and
Agreed.
we'll see it come down.
Next turn, you get to either clear a minion or go face with a big 5 points of damage.
We're gonna see an Armor Smith drop, maybe. It looks like Booz is debating.
He's definitely considering it. There's no great way here to clear this 3-5, unfortunately. Choosing to play the Armor Smith second, so losing out on 1 armor, but it does mean that this doesn't just trade in and get the 5 damage guaranteed face. He would have to trade both things in. But with that Snip Snap, it's going to be able to do just that, guarantee the 5. Either way, it's 5, so it doesn't matter which order you do that in. And Booz is in a tough spot. This is certainly a matchup that is generally Warrior favored, I think, but with the Highlander variant, it makes it a little bit harder than just a straight up Dragon list. And he kind of played it like a Dragon Hunter at the beginning, and that's what makes this deck so powerful. You can draw the right curve and kind of play out Dragon Hunter to start, and then have that top end that comes with the Highlander Hunter. You can become, in a really, really good position. It's not over yet. Actually, is that over now?
I think it's over. Yeah.
Yeah. Now with the Corrosive Breath, that will be it.
Yep.
So that'll be game 1.
To Mike.
Going to Mike, and critically, I think for Booz, the Hunter is gone. The Hunter was probably going to get a win somewhere, so not too surprising. Would have liked to maybe got a win in with the Warrior, which I think was probably the best matchup into it, but wasn't going to be able to find it there, so going to have to try to find some wins elsewhere with the Warrior and the Rogue remaining 2 of the most popular classes. He's going to have to hopefully not get too unlucky to find a chance here.
So looks like both players just bumped out to the main menu for a sec. So
yeah, Booz said it kicked him to the main menu somehow. I don't know what. If they jump right back in, I think we're okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Probably just double checking the rules here real quick and.
Yeah, I think I would hate to have some sort of DQ situation here in the playoffs. I think it should be fine. They jumped right back in. I was looking; they didn't go into their collections or anything, so I think we should be fine in that regard, and just have them go right in again. So what do you expect Booz to bring out here, knowing that the Rogue Warrior are left? Do you think he tries to just get a win with the Mage?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking here, is playing Mage wouldn't be too terrible. But at the same time, maybe you just stick with Warrior because it's the better win rate deck into everything.
Yeah, I think both might be an option. It does going with the Warrior means you could face a mirror, which often doesn't come down to, it comes a lot of times down to your familiarity with the mirror, as well as just your draw and mulligan. Often just whoever gets Galakron out first gets there. So maybe trying to avoid that. We'll see. My spectate is being a little weird, so it does look like they're in, but we'll see if I can actually spectate them. Hopefully I clicked on the right person. Let's find out in a second.
We're good.
So it's Rogue mirror match.
Rogue mirror match. Yeah. So did they bring the same Rogue is another question. Have they both brought standard Galakron? They could still both be Highlander. Oh no, so Booz not Highlander for sure. but Mike could still potentially be a Highlander variant. Wow, and getting a 2-drop to follow up. That's both players having Pharaoh Cat.
I'm gonna
And
see a
no one-
little bit worse of a Pharaoh Cat on Booze's end
Mhm.
because he pulled the Wasteland, but
Yeah, it's not too bad. He has the backstab. Choosing to use it now, actually. I don't know if I agree with that.
I was just gonna ask, would you waste a backstab for a one attack?
I just think you have a lot of, things later on that the backstab can activate. So
Mhm.
we'll see. Maybe just going to coin out the snip sap is what he's considering. Okay, going to change his mind, go for the Pharaoh Cat again. Some pretty strong minions, but nothing that can really give you the board now, which could determine the game, especially with this Faceless Corruptor, this Praise Galakron helping out, giving you a lackey. You can Praise Galakron Hero Power, which is what I expect we'll see here. Yeah, now this is starting to become scary if the backstab was held onto. Obviously, we had Caster Vision. We knew it was a Temple Berserker, but I just don't think the Pharaoh Cat is enough pressure that you'd feel the need there to backstab.
it's just a 1/2 that even if it's the only thing you see for the next few turns, you can just backstab it later. It really doesn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
needed to backstab it so quickly. And I mean, both players did the same play, but it just worked out that Mike's is just a little bit more advantageous to him because it clears up the board and allows him to pressure.
Yeah, in his situation, he was able to develop something and remove something. In Booze's case, he kind of just did it to keep his 1/2 at 2 health, which just was still weak to a backstab and weak to a lot of options. So he does have the Boom Pistol ability, which is one of the best cards in this matchup, particularly. So we'll see if that is able to do some work here.
Yeah,
So
the
now
bully's,
some options for Mike.
Bully's going to be pretty disruptive for Mike's next turn, but
yeah, we can see Mike trying to set up here for the Faceless Corruptor, making sure he's got something alive on board. And I think now the options got a couple here for Booze. We might see either the Shield, the Boom Pistol, or the Wasteland Assassin, all kind of reasonable. The Boom Pistol does stop him from being able to Faceless, but I suppose the 4/5 does a decent job as well, because still 2 of these Faceless would have to go in to clear it, or another minion plus a Faceless, so not too bad.
It's cleared pretty well by just using the 3/1.
Berserker,
Yeah.
Berserker and Snip Snap.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. And then you can just send the 1 damage face and have 2 4/4s on board with
Or a robot, kill a robot.
Or yeah, I think you can have a 2 4/3s here, or go face for 3. That's it's really the option. I think I'd rather have 2 4/3s live. The only punish there being Flick, and he's still a turn away from getting hit by the Flick, and it would remove his own Faceless Corruptors as well from the deck. So I do expect, I think, a little bit less damage this turn, but you keep 2 4/3s alive. Just are going to be tough to deal with. And actually going to keep a 4/4 alive and trading there, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know what you're playing around there. But not great options for Booze just yet.
Booze has got a pretty lumpy hand.
Yeah, this is actually not too bad. It doesn't let him play any cards here besides maybe Pickpocket. Eviscerate is an option to push 8 face and clear this off, or even there's several options. So we'll see what they go with, but double Pickpocket, yeah, Eviscerate. Or Cold Blood is interesting as well.
Ooh.
Cold Blood lets him trade without the Eviscerate, or
just pushing the damage face.
just pushing the damage face and ignoring the 5/5 is certainly an option as well.
Yep.
Okay, spreading the love.
So yeah, gonna make that trade. So now a flick off the top would kind of stabilize quite a bit. Faceless Corruptor also could do some work, but you really want to be able to get this Tog online. He's gonna just go for the trade and say, okay, I have this wrapped Golem I can get to do something next turn. Got some options, and now the shield comes down.
Will we see more pressure be used? No, we're gonna see the Violet Haze be played to get extra cards in hand, which pulls a expired merchant and Abomination into his hand.
Yeah, quite an interesting grab there with the Violet Haze, pulling some strange things, but
May work
not going to
out.
be too much of a problem here. Can clear this out with the flick and the dagger. If he chooses to remove this wrapped golem. What other options do we have?
You could drop the Abomination.
The Abomination, yeah.
Think.
Okay, going for the Seal of Fate, actually.
That leaves it just enough mana for an Abomination if they wanted, if he wanted to play it too.
Choosing not to do that. So actually, I don't know. Wow, I don't like that play at all. Not really developing much of anything, using a lot of resources, and now you've given the initiative back to Booz. I don't like the way that play developed. I would have rather had a 4/4 on board there and a 4/5 and taking a little bit of damage, or a 4/4 or 2 4/4s and taking a little bit of damage. But instead, what we saw was him leaving up just the 1/1. Now we're going to be able to invoke here, potentially set up for a Togwaggle next turn. I think trading off into this Lackey. They do have a Lackey, but this does mean if they did have the Togwaggle, he couldn't Lackey Togwaggle and play the spell. Where in another situation he could have if he left the Lackey up there. So I do like that. It does mean that he himself can't actually get the Togwaggle online this turn either. So he kind of sort of both, hurt each other there. But we'll see if that does work out here. Have a potential to make a big Edwin, but the flick will be able to deal with it. So. Okay, going for flicking the 7/6 just to continue applying some sort of pressure. Yeah, I like doing this play. It's not too bad. You are still kind of holding on this Van Cleef, which maybe could have been played there over a Lackey, but we'll see here if that matters too much. 3 invokes, so not able to play a fully invoked Galakron here. Merchant would be funny. I don't actually know how that interacts with the Galakron. I don't know if it comes back as invoked as it was, or if I don't know exactly how it works. I imagine it would come back as invoked as it was, but you could have 2 Galakrons, draw a ton of cards. It's pretty funny. I don't think it's the right play, but it would be quite funny to see that happen. Gonna get that draw first.
And are you flicking the shield?
Yeah.
And if you flick the shield, that gets rid of yours as well, and there's still 1 in his deck. So getting rid of a flick, or getting rid of only 1 shield, because I believe, did Booz play both, or no? He just played 1 shield, right? So they both lose a shield in that exchange. He gets his flick back.
Booz has played both of his shields at Galakron, so he flicked nothing.
Yeah, so he just removed 1 minion. And now we're going to see if this Wonder Swan can get some good stuff. Eviscerate, Leroy is good stuff. Backstab, not too exciting, but it will be able to kill this fish flinger.
Flick, fling, 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 fling.
Flip, 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 flip. decides to do as well, because with this Leroy at 6 or at a 0 cost, you can actually play 3 Leroys in one turn. So that's an 18 potential burst if there's no way to heal or taunt up here. If we don't see that come out for Mike, we actually could just see the game end with this weapon plus 3 Leroys just going to face, even if this board is cleared up. So Booz has set up a potential lethal here with 3 Leroys and the dagger. We'll see if there's anything. The Galakron would keep him alive if he's able to clear the board with it. But otherwise, I'm struggling to see. Maybe the Ferrocat into a taunt, but again, you're not clearing off, much of the board. So Boo's able to kind of find the lines, gets his Togwaggle online. Neither player has been able. Yeah.
This is interesting. See what he does.
Yeah. Okay, that gives you the coin. You can play the flick. And actually, going to what? Those 1/1s are not that threatening. I'd rather kill a 5/7 than 2 1/1s that are not doing much of anything.
Well,
I don't like that at all, and that should be it. I believe Booz saw the lines.
But what happens if Mike dropped his Leroy and then flicked it? Because he had enough mana. He didn't know Booz has his, but
yeah, there's no way he could have predicted triple Leroy, but still, I don't agree with the flicking of the 1/1s. He already used his Togwaggle. It's not like those were gonna apply too much pressure or have the potential to threaten. So I think making a tough choice there. It wasn't gonna matter in this case because we did see the 3 Leroys able to push the 18 and the weapon to 19. But would have put him in a better position had he not had the Leroy triple combo. So now, Booz finding the win with the Galakron Rogue. It's going to come down to Warrior and Mage for him and Warrior and Rogue for Mike. Do you expect Mage or Warrior to come out for Booz here?
Probably Warrior.
Yeah, I think I might lean actually towards the Mage. You were able to find the win in the mirror there, but I don't know if you want to risk that Warrior mirror. And I think Rogue into Warrior is pretty even. I actually think the Mage is favored slightly into these matchups, so we'll see. I think all these matchups are going to be pretty close, so you might just toss a coin and say, whatever.
50-50.
We'll find out what happens.
Yeah, do the old 50-50. Now we're just waiting for those. Maybe Mike's gonna calm down for a minute and refocus.
Yeah, maybe trying to choose the best option here, mind gaming their opponent. So yeah, it is gonna be the Mage into the Warrior. We'll see. This does appear to just be
Highlander.
Just Galakron Warrior, and then obviously the Highlander Mage for Booz. So sort of the expected results, but we'll see how this match plays out. I've seen it go both ways, so I don't know that these are the cards you want to see as the Mage or the Warrior actually to start. A little bit better. I think the one of the best cards for the Warrior in this matchup is that Bomb Wrangler. If you're able to get that online and copy it, especially, he has the Wrangler and the Awakens to start, cycling that, as well as this Ritual Chopper. He's starting to get a nice hand there for Mike. And for Booz, you don't mind the Witch Doctor early. You would love to see a Dragon come out here just to get some value off of it, but might actually just have to play it on 2. Maybe not, actually, if you're coining out the Armor Smith. That I really don't like. This matchup isn't determined by your health at all. It's determined by their health, and I think you really want to be pressuring as fast as possible. And the Armor Smith just doesn't do much. Yeah, it means that you can Ritual Chopper, and actually choosing not to Ritual Chopper, going for the minions here, playing a little bit off curve. We could have seen a Bomb Wrangler come down this turn. It's instead of that Eternium Rover, if we just skip turn 1 instead of pushing 1 damage. Although Galakron here gonna be pretty nice, especially when you have 3 invokes already. I don't like that play though. I guess is he trading? This is not how you win. You win by going face. So we'll see what he decides to do.
He's
He is
trading.
going to trade.
And then probably trade the 2 minions in.
Yeah, if you're going to trade, you trade all the minions. There was no threat of Ziliax there. You didn't really have to trade that off just yet. And now with that, the Dragon Caster.
Top deck, yep.
Yeah, second power creation could be interesting, or Flame Strike to clear off, a wide board if any comes down.
I'd go power, I think, in this case. Flame Strike here.
Yeah, you've got a pretty good curve here. The Malagos next turn into the Dragon Caster, power creation, into Flame Strike, into Tortulon. I think you're looking pretty good on the side of Booz now with the things you're able to get. And again, choosing to trade. I don't like this. If you're going to trade with your face there, I think, to keep your minions alive. Just not playing, I think, very consistently, Mike. Sort of switching around how he wants to do these trades. Before he was using his face, now he's using the minions. You sort of have to decide what the line makes sense for you, and he's sort of jumping between lines. So now Booz has the board. Going to be able to continue pressuring, but we're going to see this Dragon Caster play into power creation, and Booz is still at a pretty good health total, 21, and not too scary. We'll see what this does get him. And Card Tuck is just the card. I mean, this is going to be very hard from this point. It has to be a fully invoked Galakron to do it. Although this Risky Skipper is going to do wonders. Risky Skipper and just full going for the board here. Interesting. So I actually think you play more minions rather than less with the Skipper proc going off. Instead, he's only going to get the bombs and not get any bombs to go off. Otherwise, he would have gotten more bombs and bombs to go off. I disagree with the order there. Big Mike needing to refocus a little bit. I've seen really good play out of him, and just not too satisfied with how he's been playing this one so far. Still not out of it, but it's going to be quite hard with those card tuts and with this Flame Strike.
Just going to take care of business. So is Mike just playing defensive? And I know Warrior's just primarily made to go face most of the time.
He's choosing. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the matchup. In this matchup, you certainly want to go face, because if you let the game last too long, it's going to be very hard to win. He does find that final invoke though here, which is going to be able to Galakron next turn for full value. So definitely still in it. With the right draws off the Galakron, he's going to be in really good shape. Tortulon coming down here could potentially get Lunas, which would be quite powerful. And we are 1 or 2 turns away from Reno, not finding Lunas, but the Conj actually could do a really good job here as well. And wow, there it goes. Wow. Hits the minion you want to hit.
And gives you some nice minions as well.
And there's the Scion of Ruin. You really want to see that come out of the Galakron. We're going to have to see that come down. We still have another one in the deck, but if you were able to hit 2, you feel so great.
See a Leroy.
Let's see. He does hit the second one, so those are pretty big.
Well, shield's not bad. And there's a Leroy. Good.
Yep.
Yeah, so definitely still has a really good shot here. Although, like I said, we are 1 turn away from Amazing Reno. So I do expect, this Alex to come down. And I don't see a way for him to win this turn with the current hand. So
being played. I don't know how I feel about. I mean, that's such a.
Yeah, I think you had enough pressure there, I think.
Yeah.
To make things happen. Although I don't think there's any way, from what I can tell here, that he can find lethal this turn. If he had some way to activate this Leroy plus a way to copy it, maybe there was a chance, but not finding it here. Like if he was able to find the plus
zero.
What's it called? The zero cost inner rage plus the 3/3 to copy, that would have been 12, 14, or 24, 29. It would have been enough with the hero power. So not going to work out this time, but actually going for Annihilation, and then I'm assuming a Scion, probably the weaker one, just because it does clear up the the same things here. But not really putting too much pressure on the board again. So couple of options.
Does destroy the weapon, which I would have preferred to hold the weapon charge back there. Leaving a 4/4 on board is not, I think, something you should really fear. I mean, I know Conjure's a thing that exists, but
not worried about burst there from Mage so
Nope.
much.
Nope.
Yeah.
And you're wanting burst as warrior.
Yeah. So now a couple of options. I like freezing this. You can play this Arcane Intellect first, actually. Choosing not to, gonna probably just go for that Mana Saber. Yeah. Okay.
It's a fine play from Mage.
Yeah.
Doesn't leave anything.
You kind of want him to go all in here. You hope that this Scion comes down, but not quite happening just yet. So we might see a freeze here from Booz, kind of to bait out a little bit more some minions, or actually with the Reno. Yeah, I think you just using Reno here. Now that you drew the other Reno, I think you feel okay about whatever he plays here. There's the inner range, no way to copy it yet, but there is a chance in a little bit. He might just hold on to this Leroy until he can do that. Town Crier going to draw Devoted Maniac here. I think that's the only brush minion left. So yeah, gonna be able to do this, and I think holding on to this Scion still. I just want to put the pressure down. What are you waiting for? The longer you wait, the more options you give the Mage. Darkest Hour, not going to do too much. Now with a turn that you can just pocket Galaxy most of the time and not be too worried. Like, the only top deck that kills you, it doesn't matter what you do on your side. So, okay, gonna choose to just apply pressure instead of doing the Pocket Galaxy. I would have think I'd lean to the Pocket Galaxy. It gave you a gift of a turn to play it. Although the result I cannot complain with. Worked out here for Booz. I think that was the turn. If he was ever going to play Lunas, that was the turn.
I liked Booz's play a little bit more than the Lunas, because if your opponent does top deck that, with this play you have the possibility of pulling a taunt.
I just don't. I know he hit the taunt, but I just don't think it's worth it most of the time. Like,
kind of good.
And he does
base out that Scion that I think he's been trying to bait out for a little while now.
Yeah, but you don't have a great way to deal with it. I would have rather been able to top deck some insane things with the Pocket Galaxy. And now you're kind of not in the best position. Like, yeah, you can get rid of this because you can just freeze.
Freeze and Doomsayer. But
Freeze and Doomsayer, yep.
It seems. And then Arcane. But
yeah, but again, this is just kind of, I don't know. I feel like you could have been in a better position.
I could just cast that.
Because now these top decks could have been crazy. Like, you would have had a 1-cost Ziliax. You would have drawn a couple more cards as well last turn. And now kind of, doing things in a weird order. Yeah, you would have had Stargaze and Luna. It would have been insane with Luna's Pocket Galaxy last turn. Insane. You could have cycled so much here. I think just waiting too long. I think taking it way too passively. Like, you can outlast them. They only have one more buff thing, but here we go, and this is
game.
That's game. If he sees it, that's game. And I think you're playing a little too passively. The Lunas would have given you an option to get through here. Yeah, I think there's many ways to do it, and he's gonna see it, and that is gonna be the game going to Mike. And I think Booz kind of did not play to his outs. You can't be playing scared as the Mage that much. You saw they didn't kill you the last turn with it. It has to be a top deck. The longer you wait, the more chances you give them to get that burst. And I think you want to make sure that you can do something about it with that Lunas. With Luna as well, you would have been able to cycle a ton, and play just 1-cost minions. There's so many really powerful ones in the deck. And then the Reno can deal with a scary board a little bit later. That board was not scary. A 1-2 and a 2-2. I don't care. I'd rather play my Lunas there, start drawing 1-cost minions, and snowballing from there, because you know they have 2 powerful minions in their hand. I just think it was a little bit too slow on Booz's part, but now he's going to have to find the win with the Mage again, or the Warrior into the Rogue, and man, that is a tough one. Rogue can sometimes just do wacky, crazy things, and if it does do those things, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle here for Booz. But Mike feeling pretty good, I think, in this position. Only need to find a win with Rogue. You have 2 chances. I like those odds. For Booz now, keeping the risky skipper. I guess maybe thinking about playing that into the coin Bomb Wrangler. And I don't mind that. There's not too much that the Rogue can do about it besides backstab.
I'll show you who's boss.
So if there's, no backstab here, you're feeling pretty good about getting this Bomb Wrangler online. And it looks like Booz is running the list with the Cork runs. It does have more trade options. I think people like that sometimes. I personally like the Leroy list better, but
We are gonna see the coin bomb Wrangler come down to
yeah,
trade.
yeah, the trade. This Kobold Lackey is going to be able to, trade into this Bomb Wrangler, but not too much going on here. You can swing into one of these as well with your hero power.
You're very happy if that bomb goes into that Kobold.
Yeah, definitely. And now this Acolyte of Pain is going to be dealt with this Sealed Fate. Things looking pretty good for Mike at this position, but anything can happen. We can definitely get some good options. We haven't invoked a single time yet, so both of these Scions not going to do too much. And it's unfortunate to see 3 of 4 of your rush minions.
Without
Or
pulling
3,
a single town
yeah,
card.
yeah.
That's not that great.
Because now your Town Crier, the second one does nothing, and there's a chance you draw that last rush minion before you find the Town Crier. We do find the Town Crier here, but actually going to choose to not play it this turn. I actually think I would have been tempted to play it with the Awaken. You're pushing the same amount of damage, but you are making sure that if you don't get this Devoted off the top. And it also, the Devoted does a really good job of trading into this exact thing. But with that top deck, you can get the Town Crier into the Devoted number 2 and do that trade. I think that's what we're going to see here. Activates your Scions. We're still a turn away from Tog being active. Pushing a good amount of damage. Boom Pistol Bully. I think we actually might see that come down with one of these. Yeah, with the Faceless Lackey. Just set up for a Togwaggle next turn. Actually choosing to play the Faceless Corruptor. I kind of like setting up for the Togwaggle. This also does it, but it is a little bit weaker to this sort of play right here.
Could have definitely avoided that if you would have played the
Yeah, the Boom Pistol puts quite a good amount of pressure. It makes it so they can't really do too much to your board. And then you have a free Heist Baron Togwaggle next turn. Now, it's kind of awkward. You also played the Lackey that, this one now you're getting 0 value off of just to get the Heist Baron Togwaggle, and you can't even play it this turn. You're already at 15. Things are getting a little bit scary. There's a chance that, and with this, I mean...
Would you pick Crown in that instance, or instead of Wand? Knowing you're at 15? It's kind of like an iffy situation, but...
I think you still go Wand, but...
Yeah.
So going for the double trade to push 4, I don't know how I feel about that. I guess playing around the Flick. Flick would have been punished there if he didn't do it that way. But now this wand comes down. Let's see what it does give you. The Kronk's Seal Fate is able to clear this up. Kronk's is able to draw you your Galakron now that you're fully invoked as well. Yeah, I think you just Kronk's. You kind of want to dump your hand here, honestly. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to play this Galakron to its full potential. But most of your cards give you more cards, so we'll see. Might just have to play these lackeys and hope they don't. And they're all Draconic lackeys. The hand is full. And I don't think there's... You have to play the Sky of a Tier, I guess, just so you don't overdraw. But like, nothing's... Or Eviscerate. Okay.
We could see a burst lethal here if he pulls an Inner Rage or something to that effect.
Yeah, was not able to find it. There are no taunts on the side of Mike right now, so still some chances here, but it's going to take some doing. Now the question is, do you try to wait for that potential burst, or do you just go with what you can do?
I think it looks like he's going to wait for the potential burst and play the Bomb Wrangler right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, Leroy would have been pretty good there. You could have put him to 1 instead. But would have still been off, so not quite as good. But yeah, this Galakron is kind of awkward. You have to play this stuff first. And most of your cards give you stuff, so maybe we'll see a Boom Pistol come down.
If we see a Boom Pistol come down, that sets him out of lethal range, right? No, because if he pulls the Inner Rage, Corcoran Elite goes up to 6, and you have 1 damage with your weapon.
That's the way he does it.
Yeah.
He has to start emptying this hand because this is never going to come down, this Galakron. So I do expect the Boom Pistol, and then you could start.
Huh?
Wow.
Okay.
Just to get stuff out of the hand, I guess. I don't know about that. I guess this no, he's gonna be able to play these. He gets all of it. It's still kind of like somewhat of an awkward turn. He does get the Ziliax though. He does have Leroy as well, and this is gonna be tough to deal with. He was able to find a taunt and a heal all in one. And that is not what you want to see on the other side. And I think that's actually going to be it. That is going to be the win for Mike. Couple of unlucky plays there. And I think, you know, last game, Booz maybe making a slight error, not gripping the Pocket Galaxy earlier. I know we talked about that play. I think I still lean towards my side. I don't know if you still feel like your play was... sufficient there, but I do think it was a little too passive for the matchup.
Could even been back when like turn 6, where I thought he'd probably take the what was that, 8 mana card again? Brain fart.
The Power of Creation.
Yeah, Power Creation. Could have got.
Yeah, the second one could have been interesting as well. So a couple of options there. I think both players played it relatively well, but. I think a couple of errors on either side, just determining that one, and now good luck Albatrosses, closing the gap a little bit. It's going to now be, I believe, Booz got one of those games right, so 5-4, pretty much anyone's game here. I think a win for Booz would have been really, really strong for the Galakronies, especially with the way that Good Luck Albatrosses are set up. Their top 3 are really tough, so you can expect maybe to get 1 out of the 3, but to get 2 of them is going to be a lot harder, where this win would have meant really, really good things for the Galakronies, where they would have only needed 1 of the top 3. Now they're going to need 2. And into Lotus Knight, Catman, and Desharmo, that is going to be a tough sell, even though, you know, the players on the other side are quite good themselves, based 2-star Mako, Ghost, all good players in their own right, but I think I lean now with this victory to Mike. I lean towards the Good Luck Albatrosses taking this, where initially my initial read was the Galakronies take it, but I did have Booz winning for that to happen. So do we have time here for
I'm just
Mike to
Mike
come
right
on?
now. Yeah.
Great.
So just give me a sec. Here's Mike.
All right.
What's up, Mike? Congrats on the win, dude.
Congratulations. Puts your team in a great position here. Only 1 point down, and I was just talking about the way your team's structured. So getting a win in the bottom two for your team really does help out when the top three are just so strong in their seeds as well. So putting your team in a really good position with that win. How do you feel?
I feel great. You know, I really respect Booz, and the last time I played him was in the duos tournament, and you know, that was a really tough match. So, you know, I was intimidated coming into it, and I prepared a lot, and you know, I felt really great with that first the first game win with Hunter. You know, I think that was a lot of luck of the draw for me, with just top decking cards that, you know, pulled off a quick win. And
Yeah, you almost played that like Dragon Hunter when you were playing Highlander. It just sort of played out the way you wanted it to as a Dragon Hunter, and then you know, that's just a tough win there, or you know, tough loss there for Booz. But you played that one really well. One thing I did want to talk about is there were a couple plays. I think game two, it ended up not. You know, you were able to push enough damage that it didn't matter, or maybe it was game three. I can't. The one where you decided to flick the 2/1/1s. Yeah, that was game two, right?
Yep.
So you decided to flick the 2/1/1s rather than the 5/7. It wouldn't have mattered in that case because he had the triple Leroy, but that was an interesting play. I was curious what your reasoning there was to kill the 2/1/1s. He's already played his Togwaggle.
For me, you know, sometimes I think too much, and I don't want to destroy my own resources. Like I already flicked the you know, the 4/5, and so I destroyed my own 4/5.
Yeah, the shield. Yeah.
And if I flicked Togwaggle, it'd be like, well, I'm destroying my own Togwaggle.
Sure.
You know, and I'm putting myself in a position where I'm not going to have any card draw unless I draw, you know, Galakron. So, you know, I was hoping I'd be able to clear it on my own, but it probably would have been the better play. But then he did triple Leroy, so I mean,
yeah,
you know,
it would not have mattered in that situation. But yeah, I definitely agree. You know, you don't love getting rid of your resources, but when you're in that on the back foot there, sometimes you have to kind of make those sacrifices just to have a chance. I think you had you know, a good amount of resources in your hand as well, and kind of you just want to develop a board where you didn't really put too much pressure there, the way you ended up doing it. But you were able to find a win later with that. So can't be too upset. I think worked out quite well. Any other thoughts about your matchup there? Any highlights or things that you want to talk about?
I mean, you know, he was like guns blazing with the mage. You know, he played, you know, Power Creation. He played Albatrosses. You know, he was pulling off a lot of plays, and I was really happy I was able to clear with Warrior. You know, because you don't think of Warrior as a board clear class. You know, so
yeah,
I was really happy I was able to do that and come up with the win. And then even in that last match, you know, he'd got me down to 7 health pretty quickly, and I think, you know, a lot of people will criticize you for playing like a Ziliax naked on board, but I think that might have been the piece that kind of put him in a situation where he couldn't do anything, because he had, you know, what is he going to do against? You got to clear the Ziliax before he can touch me, so there's not much you could do, you know. So I think. I think it worked out well. I'm really happy with the result, you know, and I think our team's, you know, in a good situation, and you know, I really hope I'm looking forward to moving on. So I'm hoping this will help.
Yeah, and it certainly will help. I think there was some really good plays on both sides. Definitely, you know, a good matchup to see here to start things off, and I like things being competitive. So, you know, keeping it relatively even with that win. So congratulations to you know, Silver or Saku. Do you have any more questions here for Mike?
No, it's just
Nope.
It's all good.
Congratulations on the win, Mike.
Thank you. Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, great job, and good luck to the rest of your team and Booze's team as well in the remainder of the quarterfinals. But yeah, let's jump in here and start talking about the next match we have coming up. It is going to be a Hero Series semifinals match, and this match could determine the winner of this series as well. This one is going to be Starlax of Dad Legend versus Disco of Team NoProsHere. Right now, Dad Legend is up 8-0, so a loss here for Disco would mean the end of Team NoProsHere's run in the playoffs. It's a really big game here. And we have for Starlax on the season 5-4, and Disco 5-3, two really good players in that seed. I think it's going to be a good one. We have for Starlax Druid, Mage, Priest, and Rogue, and for Disco Hunter, Paladin, Priest, and Warrior. I'm curious to see what do you think bans are going to be? What do we expect sort of the archetypes to be? I'm not as
Ban
versed
Priest
in
to the
Hero
ground. Ban Priest to the ground.
All right, I could
To the
definitely see
ground.
that.
Yeah, looking at Disco's lineup, Disco's for sure banning Priest. But maybe Starlax decides that you ban Warrior because Mage is very good into Priest. So maybe you just ban that Warrior out, or the Hunter, and have your Druid, your Mage, and your Rogue. Because Mage is a strong contender into Priest, so maybe it's not such a scary thing for Starlax, and especially because this is hero format and counter cues are relevant.
Absolutely. I think I tend to agree with you there. I think there are a couple of options, but it will definitely come down to what archetypes they chose to bring and what they're trying to target. When you have decks like Mage and Priest, you know what archetype they're going to be for the most part. Obviously, there are some fringe options, but most of the time you're going to expect res or quest res for the Priest, which play very similarly, and then for the Mage, Highlander. Obviously, there's combo Priest and Cyclone Mage, sort of, that are options, but you do expect those, so you can kind of, if you leave them up, you can sort of know that one of your decks maybe has a good matchup there. So we'll see what they decide to do. Do we know if the players are on yet?
Well, I know Starlax is on, but we're just waiting on Disco, who's probably hugging the 9 Eastern timeline. So
yeah, that's no problem. We have them set up there. So why don't we, while we're waiting for them to get on here, if you guys don't have any more thoughts about the matchup just yet, till we see kind of what archetypes they're bringing and what bands we see, do we want to talk about just the general scope here of the playoffs so far?
Yeah, we can go over. Yeah, just have to double check the website here.
Right. So yeah, let's since we are about to jump into a hero match, let's talk about Hero Series again. Hero Series is last hero standing format with the closed deck list that we do here at THL. So expect sort of those type of lineups. Right now, we have Dad Legend. I did mention this already. Versus Team NoProsHere is one of the semifinals matches. They are currently up 8-0. Icicle's able to get a 3 over Skittles. For Dad Legend, Hockey Boy's getting a 3 over Pasca for Dad Legend as well. So in quite a commanding lead. Any loss, I believe, on the side of Team NoProsHere from here on out would determine this series. On the other side of things, Nas Dormu versus the Burninators. Again, another match sort of was determined before I think all the matches were played out. But
Hi, Silver.
Ron Mexico. Ron Mexico. Yeah, we have two of the players here that are gonna be, duking it out.
Sunday.
Despite potentially the match not having an influence on the result, still awesome to see them play. But we do have for the 1 seed, the Burnators take it 3-2. Ron Mexico over Trippy Toad. In the 3 seed, Shiny Pants takes it over Anfall 3-1. Medusa's 3-1 over 2-star Mako there. So with those 3 wins, there are 12-4 up. So that means with the remaining 2 wins, the best that Nostormu could do, even if they sweep the next 2, would be to tie things up. And with a tie, the team that has 3 match wins would be victorious, if I remember correctly. So
Mhm.
with that, the Burninator's would have it even with that scenario. So Burninator's moving on to the finals, and this match right here could determine who their opponent is. So we shall see what happens there. Any other thoughts there and here before I go over Legacy, or we talk about Legacy?
Yeah, there's nothing else to really go over. It's pretty straightforward the way things are going for the for the hero side. So
Yeah, just really proud of my team. Gonna say
Yep.
that right now. Burninators have done really good this whole season, and
they have, yep.
Yep, I'm really proud of them pulling out the early locking it up early for us into finals. So
Yeah, I guess since we have you on here, why don't we talk a little about, is there a team that you would rather play against of these two remaining teams that you might face?
Nostormo again. That's pretty much it.
Of the two, I mean, I would have to say it'd probably be we would prefer to face off against Team NoProsHere, just considering the records. Um, Dead Legend is 8-1. They've dominated this entire season so far, and just the games that we've seen so far, even in the last week, they're still dominating with double 3-0s to start out the week. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure I can speak for my team on this one that we would prefer to face Team NoProsHere, but they're both just top contender teams, and either side, it's gonna be a good match either way. So, and
Absolutely.
we lost to both teams during the normal season, so either way, it's a rematch for us, and we're coming guns a-blazing.
Absolutely, and you guys coming into your own here towards the end of the season, and just in the right time. You know, one more match that you would have to win for that championship. So it's going to be a good one. Great. So since we talked about that one, I still don't see. Do we have?
We got both players online right now, so they're just going through the old ban methods.
Perfect.
So I have one ban so far, but I will wait until Disco lets me know his ban.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that is the hero series. There, we are in the semifinals, and like I said, this match could determine who moves on to the finals. Dad Legends seal it with a win here, and Team NoProsHere continues to fight with a win on their side. So very important for both teams here.
So how do you feel, Mayanadon? You see your brother or sister team kicking butt.
Yeah, no, it feels great. You know what? I do love. I really want Dad Legends to get some championships. I think we can do 2 of them this season. I don't know if that's ever been done. I hope we can do it. It's going to be tough. Our opponent this week in Legacy is a tough one, and it doesn't get easier from there. But I think if there's a team that can do it, it'll be this hero Dad Legend team, just dominating the season and continue to do so. It seems in the postseason. Hopefully we can, make them proud on the Legacy side of things as well.
All right, I got bans now. So
perfect.
Disco is going to be banning Priest, where Starlax is going to be banning Hunter.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I was, Hunter could be a reasonable ban there as well, with the Mage Bring and
knowing that your Priest most likely going to end up getting banned. Hunter
exactly.
is a scary matchup. So yeah, the Hunter ban was kind of not an out there pick. So
all right, so with those bans in, we are going to see for Starlax the Druid, the Mage, and the Rogue against Disco's Paladin, Priest, and Warrior. So
Paladin rocks it first, man.
6 different classes. I like it.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell the players to get rolling here.
Yeah, have them hop in. We are ready to go on our end. I'm excited for this one. Do you have any thoughts on what classes we're going to see come out first? Is there maybe the Priest for Disco? I feel like Priest has the potential to kind of sweep some of these, but then maybe we'll see the Mage for Starlax has a pretty good matchup there.
Would definitely agree. Sorry, I was typing in
You're
chat
good,
there.
you're
So, what was I going to say? Jeez, lost my track. My thing. So Starlax is going to be our one to observe first, and we're going to have Disco on top. Once they get going.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I think a couple of options there to start, but
So yeah, sorry. Back to that. Sorry. So we're asking which class each player is going to start. That would be for me. I think Disco is going to start with Paladin. Quick, dirty.
I think, I don't know. I think Disco is gonna start maybe a warrior. A warrior start might be it gets you that warrior could be one of your sweep choices, and then a rogue start from Starlax seems pretty evident because you really don't want to run into priest. You'd be okay running into priest with mage or rogue, but you kind of want to keep that mage sitting there looking pretty for all intensive purposes until you have to pull it out against the priest. So I think it's going to be a warrior versus rogue to start the first match.
all right. Well, we will see in 1 second here. I do think that makes a good amount of sense. You know, I think the rogue has a potential, as we saw in a couple of those matches, to just do some crazy things. It doesn't matter what you're playing against. If that happens to you, that's just it. And it's going to be that rogue Paladin.
Damn.
So yeah, I think you guys are both right in some regards there. I think it was Saku who said the Paladin's going to come out just quick and dirty, and then we do see the Rogue for Starlax. Who do you think is favored in this one?
I think it's the Paladin. It just overwhelms. It's a much, but with that Restless Mummy pickup, it's not nearly as
Oh wow, he's got
intimidating.
A little bit of tech in there with the sword or the champion. True silver.
So, the backstab going to be pretty good here. Going to be able to clear out actually this board, which is so strong into an early start like this. I think I expect that 100% backstab. Hero power, just clear out all of this.
Make sure that your opponent has nothing on board magnetic into or even remotely used.
Yeah, now we'll probably see that hot air balloon micro mummy come down, try to set up for an Anoia module. Let's see if there's going to be an answer.
I assume we're just going to see a Seal of Fate.
Yeah, Seal Fate can come down.
Bust a balloon.
Yeah, probably just get rid of that balloon.
Yeah, the balloon
actually
spiral. But I think it's better to use the Seal of Fate that way. You tank the 2 damage and clear it with your minions, because then you can just
you just leave. Oh, and he does get the Cobalt Lackey. Nice. Working out really well in that case there. So I do like that play.
With that, you have 2 lackeys that you can pull that could potentially give you a full clear, because Rush Lackey gives you a full clear, and so does the other one. So I mean, either way, I think that was the better starting play, is to pop Seal of Fate to start out with. But
yeah, absolutely. And actually just going to go for the hero power here, holding on to the Sky Claw and the Glowtron. And not contesting too much just yet, but couple of options to try to come back, but when you lose the board as the Paladin, it does start to become quite difficult.
Ooh, wow, that's a weird Octosari tech.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it definitely used to go in these types of decks. It used to go in the Highlander Paladin for sure, and
it's just a good reload option, which Paladin doesn't really have itself personally.
Yeah, it used to, but they got rid of that card, so.
Very true, very true.
It's made aggro variants of Paladin have that weakness, which I think was very good and healthy for the game, but certainly not what you want as Disco. So kind of going for that Octosari, make a big threat, and potentially draw a ton of cards.
We do see the Restless Mummy coming into a clear here.
Yeah, that Restless Mummy doing some good work there. That was a scary threat there, and
you're gonna see a bear
without the sap, yeah. Now still able to develop quite a nice board here. A couple of options.
Flick? You flick it? Because you only seen 1 Star Claw so far. Or, sorry,
That
Sky
is
Claw.
true. you could flick the Sky Claw and remove the Sky Claw permanently, which would make it very difficult.
On wings of
But I think it's better to do other plays.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you can either go for the miss screen here and still be able to hero power, get some stuff removed as well. Have options for lackeys that could make things a little bit nicer for you.
Oh my
And you
goodness.
find
And those
the
are two
Cobalt
lackeys that certainly make it nicer for you. Cobalt lackey to that. You can rush this 1/1 or the 1/5 or the 1/4 into the 1/2, and yeah, that's exactly what you wanted to see. Those were two of the best options, probably the two best options actually in that situation. So working out quite well. And here come the shot bots. I've seen different variants. Some people don't like them. Some people do.
Shotbot's a great card.
Yeah.
I really do like them.
Hard to get off the board. Annoying.
I mean, in the current situation, it's pretty easy. You have perfect trade into it.
If they come out early, it's a little bit more annoying, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see quite a few shot bots come down this game. We're going to see at least 3. And I expect this Octosari to come down
right now. Not now, but right now. There you go.
right now. Didn't see the Sab come out earlier, so not expecting to see it here, although Flick does just remove this, which is not a terrible option. They're going to get the draw soon anyway, although maybe you just don't mind having this 4/5 tank a little bit. I don't like giving it health, though. I'd rather it still dies to the 8/8. So I don't know. I think I would have rather taunted the other thing, just give you a couple more turns, but
Big Edwin.
We are.
yeah, you just big Edwin. Yeah, you just ignore it for sure.
Yep. Just push as much
And
damage.
set up a really good situation, and it isn't able to trade itself off. I guess that was more the reasoning is, you know, if he had some way to deal 1 damage, he could have traded this off into the Edwin and maybe been able to, you know, get 8 cards to play, but was not able to do it here, but was able to summon a big annoying module that's going to make things a little bit trickier.
A little more.
Although, how much damage are we looking at?
If
This Flick just removes it, right? So that's just
game.
that's just game. Yeah, with that, that should do it. That is going to be 15 damage exactly. And that'll be game 1 to Starlax, getting the win over the Paladin. Now, this Rogue is going to cause some problems. What do you think is left for Disco with that Priest and the Warrior available to beat this Rogue? I think it's going to be the Warrior.
Yeah, I assume Warrior because Priest can lose pretty badly into Rogue. So Warrior, I think, is the more clear choice for Disco. I mean, Priest is still a viable option. It can still win the game, but it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree there. I think we're going to see that Warrior.
There it is.
Let's see if it can get the win into the Rogue. I think the Warrior is going to be the one that might give Starlax some problems if he can't get the win here. So we'll see if he's going to be able to do that.
He's got a decent hand. Disco's got a decent hand to clump around.
Yeah, you'd love to see a 1-drop.
Job's done.
Especially one like Town Crier, which draws you a card, and you don't mind the Eternium Rover either, but I think you just want to start drawing. Wow, okay, so he's running double Eternium Rover in this list. Interesting. I really don't agree with that for Disco. There's no Hunter on the side of Starlax, and that's really the deck that you're playing these double Rovers for. And when you know there's no Hunter, there's no reason to, you know, build the deck as a Hunter counter. I think 1 Eternium Rover is enough. Gonna be okay here. Obviously, you know, getting a playable card is not too bad. And then when you run Snip Snap, you are able to magnetize onto these, which is pretty nice, but Could have
Does it
been
look
a
like-
different card.
Looks like that's what he's thinking of right now. Or just invoking.
Interesting. So yeah, we're gonna see that awaken here. Choosing to trade off his rover instead of using his face to clear, and that's actually gonna mean that this Snip Snap's not gonna be able to land on a rover anymore, which is kind of the reason you might play 2 is for that Snip Snap interaction. But we will probably see the coin shielded Galakron here. Have the second one to follow up next turn. This gives you the second invoke, so Scion's online. And we got a game, especially with this Generous Mummy. You hate to see that.
Yeah.
It's always
Possibly
Generous
the-
Mummy in my experience, but
Yeah.
Probably the worst pickup you can get from Pharaoh Cat.
Unless you can destroy it with but we're talking turn 8 with the faceless.
Yeah.
yeah. So now a couple of different options here to trade or remove this, but we'll see which one ends up being the best. And actually, this works out quite well.
Up to no good. Me too.
Lets you set up for a really nice Faceless Corruptor next turn to deal with the second wave here of the Shield of Galakron.
I will act as your scale.
Face was getting better?
Yeah, I think he's playing around the Togwaggle.
Mhm.
If the Togwaggle was there, he would have been able to get that online.
Yeah, that's 6. That's true. Turn 6 would be.
Now, however, he's going to be able to Titanic Lackey this, go in, play the Faceless on. I think at this point, yeah, I think that's fine right there. The way he did it there, and now this has the potential to live. You can evolve it. It's not going to in this case, but
We will see the clear with Sign of Ruin.
yeah, these two players are playing very quickly.
Yeah, you leave up more minions that way. I see that play being.
Flick would have been an incredible top deck. Did
Yeah.
not find it though. And now, sort of an awkward situation. He does have a way to use this Generous Mummy now, though, with the Witchy Lackeys later, so you don't feel too bad about it. Or if maybe their hand ends up being quite empty, you can feel a little bit better about using it. But not great options. Yeah, might just go for just a Draconic Lackey, see what you get, and kill off most of these. He's at 17 health, Starlax. So, wow, that was a snap pick of the Cobalt Spellkin. I don't know what 1-cost spells you're that excited about for Rogue. I guess there's a couple. You can get another Praise.
I mean, with Eviscerate in hand, I feel like it's almost a better pick to take Malleus. I mean,
it's
if
a
you
little
get that
slow. It's a little
Yeah.
slow. You need something that you can play right now.
That's true.
And
That's true.
that Seal Fate's pretty good. A couple of options. You have the Eviscerate that can deal with things as well, so choosing to go for the 2 health minion there.
Pulls another Witchy Lackey.
Yeah, Donde's favorite.
So I think we might actually just see that Mummy into a double Witchy Lackey with that. And actually, yeah, that's what we're going to see. Hitting a 3-3, hitting a 4-4. Not the best results,
No, kind of
unfortunately.
understated all the way around, but
It is allow for some more draw here, unfortunately. Maybe clearing off the 1-3 instead of the 3-2 would have been a little bit better.
we do see that fully invoked Galakron draw. That could be a very very good play.
I think it
Drawing
might
the-
just be the play here. You still have another Town Crier. You have both of the other 1-costs that you could play right now, and there is that Town Crier. And the Skipper as well as a potential option. Did not get it here, but did get this Town Crier.
He is going to push that 5 damage face, which is the right decision.
Yeah, I think Galakron was really the only way here for Rogue to maybe have a shot. I wonder, is there lethal here somewhere? With Scion. Scion plus Kronks. He doesn't have mana for that just yet. Scion Kronks is lethal though if he was able to get there. Is there another lethal option? Does he have how many folks? Because he needs to get through this taunt to be able to swing the 5. He can deal 8. Does he have 1 damage somewhere? If he plays, trying to think. I'm looking. The hand's pretty full, so it's hard to see exactly what all the cards are. I don't see a way that he actually has.
There is no lethal route.
He can get 8 damage, but no invokes in hand means he's gonna be short.
Maybe you just play Kronks with
The 5 board clear.
Just deal 5
yeah.
and hit 8 to the dome. Put him at 1.
Set him
I think
to
that's
1.
where I'm leaning. You have a giant thing on board, and that's what we're gonna see.
Oh, he's not gonna do it.
This Town Crier.
He can still hero power.
Yeah, does still draw, so
8 to the base, and this is kind of looking despairing for Rogue. Yep.
Yeah, and there's
Starlax
nothing that he can do there. And now we're gonna see this warrior potentially make things difficult for Starlax. For Starlax, he has the mage and the druid remaining. And we've got the priest and the warrior for Disco. We're going to see that warrior again. But what do you think?
Druid.
Yep, and I think it'll be Quest Druid. It's a Biggin, really. Quest Druid, yeah, and Biggin's not bad. I think Quest Druid does really, really well into the warrior, but I think the Biggin does quite a decent job as well if you are able to.
Which he pulls in Biggin, Breath of Dreams, both in his starting hand, which is very nice.
And the Fairy Dragon.
And the coin, yeah.
Always happy to see that.
Well, this is upsetting. Coin, breath, and Biggin.
We'll see if he does that this turn. Not under too much pressure yet. I think you'd wait a little bit. You want somewhat of a curve into warrior. You don't want to just make all of your minions unplayable. And right
Disagree.
now, not the best curve.
You just give her.
I disagree. You just get him.
Now, however, with the Snip Snap, I think you can feel okay to embiggen and play the Breath of Dreams.
Yeah.
Now you've got a decent enough curve that you could make it there.
See if he embiggen last turn, he would add a bigger Snip Snap. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
True. But
Who would have been
now,
able to play it though? So
now he can. There's a couple of options. He can choose to. And there's a Feywing. You can actually play that right now.
Yep. I think he's gonna coin the Feywing.
Yep.
Or Big Ol' Whelp, which gives you a draw.
Yeah, Big Ol' Whelp gives you another draw.
Big Ol' Whelp.
Same amount of health, essentially. It's still,
Yeah.
I guess it's a little bit weaker.
A little bit weaker, but it gives you that draw, which I think just outvalues the can't be targeted by spells and hero powers in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does mean that this Awaken is I mean, either way, the Awaken would have traded. It just means you take 1 damage from the 1/1, so I think that's totally fine trade-off there.
Big Leroy.
Now I think you just play this Feywing.
And I mean, Snip Snap's not a terror. Snip Snap, Fairy Dragon, Hero Power. Snip Snap, Hero Power, Snip Snap, Fairy Dragon. That's a fine play.
You know they are invoked, so this does kind of do something to the Sign of Ruins.
We do see that Starlax has that 7 and turn 7 Wing Guardian, and then on top of it a turn 8 Wing Guardian right afterwards, which kind of just puts up a wall that just stops anything from going through.
4 taunts essentially.
Yeah, that's kind of why I sort of liked the Feywing last turn, because this turn you could have played double Snip Snap. Now you're kind of floating a mana, and I spoke too soon. You find the Ziliax.
Which is the perfect trade.
Gonna magnetize it just to make the minion a little bit tougher. The 5 health doesn't really trade differently into Scion, but it does give you that 1 extra healing this turn. I don't know. I maybe would have just put it separately to push the 1 damage. I don't think the 1 health is going to make a difference.
No, but we will, I'm pretty sure, see Guardian come down unless there's a better top deck, which I don't think that the Oasis Surger is that better top deck.
No, I think Wing Guardian, and he's actually going to say the Oasis Surger does make 2 5/5s, are able to use your face to, or sorry, no, you don't have the mana, so yeah, you just trade one of these. It does develop 2 5/5s though, so they might have to see the second Scion come down just to deal with this. And actually, we're going to see
Awaken for the draw.
Will we see the Inner Rage also be used, or
I don't
to
know.
get an extra draw? We'll see. I don't know. That was I don't know if I agree with that play.
Like that. Well, I always see Inner Rage or get rid of it. Again, I don't think I like that play.
I don't like that either.
Especially knowing that your opponent has like a potential 8-10 taunt.
And you also have Leroy Bloodsworn in hand. I feel like that is the time where you hold on to Inner Rage, because if they don't taunt up, like, you have a potential huge amount of burst.
Yep. You have 20 burst at any given time once you hit turn 8, which you're there now. Yep.
I think Starlax is in quite a good position from here. Just big boys coming down every turn from now on, and this Scion doesn't actually do too much. You're going to be able to clear all this off, but you're not developing anything.
And you don't, I mean, and you're taking 5 damage to the face just to clear. But your opponent now just gets to slap down something free.
Yeah, now you're kind of banking on that Galakron off the top, but not able to find it here. Has a chance to draw quite a good amount of cards and gain some armor, so not too bad a result. You can play this Bloodsworn Mercenary, draw even more cards, get some more armor. I think you have to do it at this point. You need to find this Galakron, and I like drawing an extra card. Choosing to not draw that 1 extra card, and I disagree.
Does not find the Galakron, but you do find a
shield.
And just passes the turn.
Yeah.
We do see a strength in numbers.
And there is the swipe is just so clean there. And this Fey Wing. I think this game is all but over for Disco here. Starlax gonna, I think, take the lead here 2-1 now, and it's gonna come down to the Priest for Disco remaining to try to get the 2 wins into the Mage and the Druid.
We do see the Inner Rage Bloodsworn.
Yeah, not gonna do quite enough here.
Does remove the taunt, but still leaves your opponent with 3 off people? No.
Yeah, and that Leroy will be plenty of damage. Gets him there. And yeah, we're going to game 4 here.
Right? Yeah. 4. Yeah,
game 4.
All right, so we're going to see that Druid into the Priest now.
That's what I was going to say. Is we get, jeez, didn't even give me a chance to even click the screens here. They fast. It's like, all right, let's go.
Fast. I do think the Priest is in a good position here most of the time.
But knowing that Mage is on the back burner, I think that you're kind of in trouble here, because Priest is just so bad into that Mage.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think he probably gets the win here, but it's just not going to be enough. Even if he gets the win here, it's going to be quite hard to get the win into the Mage. And with that matchup looming, it's you know, you have to obviously get this win first, but you got to be thinking about that coming up. And there we go. We have the Breath of Dreams again. Starting off quite strong. Doesn't really help too much just yet, but it will see some good value coming through soon. All right, so not too many options. Going to actually choose to wait on the Snip Snap. You know, pushing the early damage does not do too much into this matchup. No minions for Disco yet in the hand.
Wow. That's not what you'd like to see, but...
Interesting choice here. The Leroy actually really powerful for Starlax. I would like to see that come down next turn. I would have maybe considered playing it this turn, but maybe he's thinking he gets to guarantee trading a little bit here. And actually going to go with the Primordial Explorer. Evasive Draconid is an interesting option. Something you can play next turn if you don't want to play the Winged Guardian. Again, though, I think for this Druid, one of the most powerful things you can do, obviously we haven't seen any minions yet for Disco, but getting that Leroy online and making them summon some 1/1s just really ruins their game plan. If you can start putting 1/1s in their res pool, it gets pretty difficult for them to come back. Although just curving out for Starlax, ignoring the Priest minions, I think, is the correct play. We'll see. Interesting choice there for Disco. Couple of options again. Yeah, see, this is another situation. He's not putting these Albatross. Like, I don't like not trading there. The thing is, like, you want their deck to be bad cards if you can do it, and you're not really putting enough pressure right now as the Priest. This is not how I would play this matchup.
He's just leaving himself open. Pretty.
Yeah. Does have the timer up here.
Unity, precision, perfection.
No, I think I liked the time rip more than I liked that because you remove damage. With this, you're not even removing anything. You leave up 10 damage on board. Knowing your opponent has rush, they can just remove that and not heal you any. I don't know. I feel like that was the wrong play.
Yeah, right now we have Albatross and Ziliax in the res pool, so this coin mass res is not doing too much. You really want to get this card Tut online before you mass res. This is gonna be tough. We're just gonna have to see the Plague of Death come out. Again, you're just giving initiative to your opponent. With quite a few options.
Frizz is fine.
Okay.
With an open board.
Frizz, yeah, Frizz, double Snip Snap is certainly fine.
Does not stack in the Fear of Mass Dispel, which is smart, knowing with his opponent having it in hand, but he doesn't know that.
And I think we'll all just see this card Tut, and Disco might be able to stabilize with the way things are going now. It's going to still be tough, but especially with these double evasive Draconids found, he's going to have to find that Plague of Death or Mass Hysteria to start clearing these things off, but certainly in a solid position with these time rips to deal with anything but those. Although we do have a Evasive Worm and the Evasive Draconids all in the hand.
And a Fairy Dragon as well.
And a free Fairy Dragon that just makes things tricky.
We are going to see the Evasive Worm corrupt here to clear up that
yeah, and then with the swipe face, choosing not to swipe face. Holding on to that for now, maybe for cloning gallery potential.
Yeah.
Don't see it in the hand just yet, but it certainly is potential option.
do see
This
the
mass res, mass hysteria is available. Mass res gives you Kartut, Zilliax, and Albatross. Breath of the Infinite does not quite clear enough. The mass hysteria gives you an option.
I think it is a full clear too.
Depends on how these things trade, and
it leaves up.
Although
And
this
then
Breath of the Infinite is able to clear it out.
Yep. But again, you leave that whole board up for your opponent to do whatever they feel.
Yeah, and what they feel, I think, is a evasive Draconid and a Whelp this turn. Or the Swinged Guardian.
Which is just scary every time. I think we could see a Mass Dispel Time Rip to clear off the 6/8.
That will be lethal though for Starlax.
That is true.
With the Leroy and the swipe, so a mass res
res
might have to come down. It gives you the Kartut, the Zilliax, and the Albatross.
But we are gonna see the Mass Dispel Time Rip.
And that is going to be the series for Starlax. Able to find the win in an unfavorable. I don't think early game was played optimally, but also not really getting minions for the top like 8 cards or something for Disco, making it quite difficult. And that will be it. Congratulations to Dad Legend for moving on to the finals of the Hero Series. Let's get Starlax in here if we can.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and collect him right now. So, a sec here.
Ooh, so that means Dad Legend versus Burninators in the finals.
Yeah, and there you go. That does solidify the finals. So get ready for next week. It's going to be Dad Legend versus the Burninators. You were part of that matchup. Can you tell me a little about what happened during the regular season in this match?
If I remember correctly, what ended up happening is I think we pulled out a couple of it went really back and forth. I think we pulled out a couple early wins and they countered back, and it ended up coming down to myself versus Sage and no, it came okay, so what ended up happening, I remember, is that Braun and Medusa's played early, so it was slightly went Dad Legend's way, with them getting a little bit more points, and then Harthy came along, pulled out a 3-0 versus Starlax, leaving it just down to myself or Shiny Pants needing to pull out a win, and Shiny Pants got all but close but couldn't quite reach it, and then I just got swept by Sage and couldn't do it.
Wow, so a close one, but last time resulting with Dad Legend finding the win. Do you expect a similar result or something completely different this time around? Obviously, you would hope that in the finals, for your sake and for your team, that it doesn't result with a different end. But that does give us a little taste on what could happen. That was earlier in the season, so I think a lot of the meta has shifted.
It has, yeah. So much change that happened throughout the whole series, or sorry, season this year. So
yeah, but you get your rematch against Sage, and the rest of your team gets, I think, for the most part, rematches against their opponents. Although I do think some of the seeds have switched around a little bit.
For the most part, I think so. Yeah. I think that we're gonna see maybe something similar with us pulling it out, but I don't know. Also, hi Starlax.
What's up, Starlax?
Congrats.
Welcome, congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
You ripped it.
I did. I was a little sweating it there. Disco is a really solid player, and a couple of those games I just happened to have exactly the right answer to get there. But no, I'm back into the finals again. I lost a couple seasons ago, back when I was captaining the Mucklings, and then we lost last season in Legacy. So I don't want to lose 3 times in a row in a championship.
Yeah, no,
The Buffalo Bills of the THL. Is that where we're going
yeah,
with this?
don't jinx anything here, man. I'm feeling good for you guys. I think that was really well played by both players, but able to edge it out there. The Druid finding the cards, and the Rogue obviously getting that early win as well. Not even having to bring out the Mage. So got to feel pretty good about that. Any highlights there of that matchup? Something that maybe you thought was really cool or kind of interesting?
Honestly, I practice a lot with Yellow and Isocles before this match, just try to get our strategy down. And for the most part, we kind of we had a good idea of what we were going to see. Not, we weren't 100% sure, but we had a good idea what we were going to see, and we had a solid game plan going in. The prep beforehand is what won this match. Like we made the assumption that Paladin was going to be the first class. So we threw out the counter right away, and we had Druid to counter Warrior, which we knew was going to counter the the Rogue, and then Druid and Mage can both get there against Priest. I was a little concerned it was going to be combo Priest, but once I noticed it was Galakronies early on, I felt a lot better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do think generally the Priest has a better matchup into that Druid, but was the first like 8 cards were all spells, and they're with all of your evasive and untargetable minions, the spells weren't doing too much, and just no minions to start rezzing and cycling that stuff. One play that I was interested why you didn't rip it earlier. Was the Leroy. One thing that I love to do into Priest, especially when they're not summoning a lot of minions early, is just play that Leroy as soon as possible and just give them 2 terrible whelps. And if they low roll a res anywhere, it can just mean the game. I didn't see you do that. It did work out. Your line, just kind of playing the biggest thing that you could each turn. But I'm just curious what if you ever considered that, or if you kind of just were like, I'm gonna get save the Leroy for potential burst and just play my big things now.
So that was going through my mind pretty much as soon as I hit turn 9. But what I was kind of afraid of, to be honest, I was afraid of a cloning gallery. So I really, because he had a couple of those cards in hand for a while, it felt like. So I was just kind of holding back, going, I really need that swipe for face and then kill off all those minions instead of just doing a Leroy swipe for the 10.
Sure.
And part of that was, he didn't have a whole lot of minions that were played. And so the minions that he played, Bad Luck, Albatross getting it back, even like Kartut, I didn't feel too bad about having those up. I had some decent value. Like, I said the other Oasis Surger in my hand for a while. I had Ziliax in my hand in a while. It's a matchup I played a lot on ladder, and I've kind of learned that you don't really want to go super wide on it. Just keep building up and chipping away, and just start building some value minions in your hand. So I was kind of expecting a res, early on, and then that's where I was going to start playing, some of those rush minions to start taking stuff down. But it came out. It was definitely in the back of my head, where it's like there's a couple times where I think it was like 2 damage off lethal if I would have done that, and it's like,
yeah, I mean, even yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going like, yeah, I could do that. It would work. But then I'm like, if he plays Cloning Gallery, I am pretty much effed. I'm not sure how I'm going to get through that. Just because he didn't play a convincing Infiltrator. And that's what the scary part was.
Yeah, no, certainly something that you have to think about. I personally, I would even play just the Leroy on 5. You had minions that you could have killed one of the 1/1s off and felt pretty confident with that. I don't even wait for the swipe, just because if you get them in the res pool super early. But I do understand what you're saying. Holding on to the swipe for the cloning gallery is something we did talk about as well, and I think that was certainly the right play. Did not need it this time around, but able to get there. I think both games had the breath of dreams to start things off, and then the Embiggen and in the first game, and not needing it even in the second game. So definitely saw the power of Embiggen Druid there.
Yeah, it's Breath of Dreams, and that's the key card. You don't really need Embiggen to win, but it does help
Yeah.
It certainly does.
It enhances your gameplay. There you go.
It almost reminds me of sort of the way Spiteful Druid and Spiteful Priest used to play. You kind of just play your biggest thing on curve, and sometimes it can get even bigger with Embiggen, but sometimes it's just fine the way it is. Playing that 6/8 untargetable with the Reborn, or just playing out your minions can just do wonders.
Oh yeah, exactly. But no, it feels good. I know now Yellow Dart and Sage have a little bit more relaxing matches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both games. I'm looking forward to playing against the Burninators. I'm playing on the pro team with Lil Harthy and
Hello,
SilverTFox. So it's great. So, one of us is going to win, and it's going to be it's going to be Dad Legend. That's fine. We've been rolling the narrative all season.
All season, yeah.
Okay, I'll let you believe whatever false beliefs you want to believe, but duly note, it's not going to be easy for you if you want to believe that.
I want to say it was pretty close, our first matchup, wasn't it?
It was 1-3-0 match topped it over. It was 14-11 at the end, and my 3-0 the 3-0 loss on my end really solidified it for you guys.
Yeah, your team is Ron Mexico, Lil Harthy, you. I'm trying to remember the rest of your team.
Shiny Pants and
Shiny
Medusa.
Pants. Yeah, and Medusa's a stud too. Your team's solid. Like when I looked at these teams at the beginning of the season, these were two. Honestly, the Burninators was the team that I thought was going to be the biggest contenders with Dad Legend, along with the 4 playoff teams were the teams that I thought were probably the best suited from the people that I knew. I don't know everyone in the league, but the people I knew they were all great. But somehow we have to figure out how to get Sage in the 1 seed. So if we can have a clerical error there, someone on maybe
that'll be Airhat's job to accidentally put Sage versus Ron Mexico or something.
Right? Does that mean you'd rather play against Icicles?
I'm just saying that if that does happen, I'll have to pull out Legend Killer status again and just do it. I'll have to pull some sort of amazing victory like I somehow did in the first week of Pro against Solo Jazz.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
It's actually I'm looking at your previous matchup here now, and it's actually interesting. Both of you in the previous matchup were swept. You both lost 3-0. You're going to be able to have a rematch against your opponent of that same match. How are you feeling about playing against Harthy Starlax for you, and then for Silver, how are you feeling about playing against Sage again? Both of you were swept by them in the previous matchup.
I think that it's going to be a different outcome. I feel like I'm gonna prep a little bit harder than I did the last time into Sage, and I'll have a lot more time on my hands to prep as well. That was another thing. I didn't have much time to prep that week, so I was kind of running it blind. So I think that this next time going into Sage, I'm gonna work a lot harder, and I'm gonna just take that 3-0 that I got last time and make it a 3-2 or a 3-0 my way. So it's going to be a completely different me going into the match.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping to do, anyways.
So Mayanadon, are you assuming that Yellow Dart's going to lose to Pee-wee? Is that what you're trying to say?
I didn't suggest anything.
Right now. So,
oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying, I mean, if Yellow Dart wins though, then you remain the same seeds, right?
Yeah, and I play Shiny Pants, which
right.
I played Shiny Pants before.
Right. Yeah, I didn't realize you were 3 at the moment. So yeah, I mean, you guys are super close. I guess if he loses to AWI, but yeah, if he does lose, then you will have that rematch. If not, then it will be going a different way. So we'll see what happens there. That actually, I didn't even think about the implications of the remaining 2 matches could actually determine matchups, which could make a difference in the final result as well. So,
I mean, I'm playing Sage no matter what. So.
Yeah, for you, not as
unless somehow something goes wrong and somehow the seeds get all flopped and I have to verse for some reason. Like,
I don't think there's any way for your match that's gonna change. But for Yellow Dart and Starlax, it could actually switch things up. Yellow Dart in the last time was Yellow Dart was the 4 seed last time, so he has no chance of actually facing the same opponent. Yeah, he played Medusa, so he's going to play a new opponent no matter what. So it's just whether Starlax, whether you get to play the same opponent or someone new this time around. We'll see if that makes a difference. Worked out last time the order that you guys were in, but that is no longer an option.
Yeah, it all depends on what Yellow Dart does. But we can always assume that there's going to be Leroy's in those decks.
do you think he still has Leroy's in his deck anymore? I thought he'd get rid of them.
You'll never know. Some weeks he will, and some weeks he won't. And you just
yeah, he brought Priest. Who is he? I don't even know him anymore. Ever since he started, he
hey, I mean, you can run Leroy and Priest. It's not that crazy.
It's blasphemy there, Mayanadon.
It's great for the mirror.
Great for the mirror.
You res a bunch of 6/2s that go face. Like, why not?
Hey, I like your style, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, why not? I could see that.
Aggro Priest.
Pure. I don't know about aggro Priest. Just
Leroy res Priest.
Leroy res Priest. Yeah. Hey man, you can combo it with.
I mean, it is a 5-drop. It is a 5-drop, so it can be played on turn 5 and be rezzed by Psycho Pump on turn 6.
Yeah. You can play the rune on it as well if you have like a way to deal with it with the rune.
Yeah.
I'm crafting that right now. There you go, there. Let's go.
That's spicy. Here we go.
Kill it off with your own penance.
Yeah, that's it. That's the play. You're 1 mana short, unfortunately. So you just save the coin. Turn 10, you just do that. Easy win.
or you throw the Mana Saber
18 damage. Yeah, the Mana Saber in there. I think we're going too far now. We're going too far.
All right.
These seem like all-star style decks now, aren't they?
Yeah, this is a good taste for All-Stars. But yeah, congratulations again, Starlax and to Dad Legend for moving on to the finals. Going to be a really, really awesome final match there. Again, the Burninator's Dad Legend versus the Burninator's. That's going to start next week. I'm not sure if we have any more of these matches. Actually, I am sure we have right now. We have. I'll do the announcements for the rest of the weekend, the rest of our programming here on Saturday afternoon tomorrow for Schoolstone. We have Saku, you are opping and casting. Thank you for subbing in for that. I know Lotus had to fly home, so unable to do that right now. But you are going to be casting with Based. And you two are going to have a great time for the Pro Series match. First match of the day. I don't have times here. Do you know what times these are?
The times, I forgot to write the times. So the times for Schoolstone is going to be 1. Let me double check those nights here. 1 p.m. Eastern to 3 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so yeah, at 1 p.m. then Eastern, we have Pro Series match Skittles of Taste the Rainbow versus Mata of the Menagerie. It's going to be a good one. And then following that up is the Legacy Series match of Ron Mexico of 4th and Inches versus Nate of DeStubbs. The Legacy Series, that is the playoffs. The Pro is not quite in playoffs yet, but that Pro match tomorrow does have some semifinal implications. It is we did see right now currently the standings 4th and Inches are up 6-5 against the Stubbs, so that match could start leaning more dominantly in one of the team's favors, so that's going to be pretty important. So stay tuned for that one tomorrow in the afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern. And then tomorrow night, Salty Saturday, we have Doan Day opping and casting alongside either myself, Mark Shire, or Dano. I don't know that we have decided who just yet, but the match that we have lined up for that one is going to be Super Murloc of 4th and Inches versus Siege of Stubbs, which is that same matchup I was just talking about. So we're going to have 2 of those same day for the Legacy quarterfinals. And then I think there's still a slot available at 9, maybe even one at 10. So if you are playing...
9 p.m. is still open from what I understand from Dante. So
great. So if you are playing tomorrow around that time, please reach out to Dante and try to get your match streamed. There's quite a few great matches out there coming up that are not on stream, so that'd be great to have those. And then on Sunday, we have for Sunday Showdown, Quaz opping, and unsure about the casters just yet, but the match we have lined up for that is Yeldart of Dad Legend versus Agent PWV of NoProsHere at 9 p.m. for the Hero Semi. So this is this matchup is not going to determine who moves on, but it will determine the seeds for the finals that we were talking about earlier. Yellow Dart of Starlax changing seeds could happen depending on the result here.
Right.
So that will still have implications for the finals. But yeah, that's everything we have lined up. I think there's another slot available for that as well, 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. So if you are
hit up Dante.
Playing around that time, hit up Dante as well. And I think that's it from us. Thanks everybody for watching. Anyone else have any final announcements?
Yeah, just wanted to thank thanks all the participants there for jumping on stream. I know with playoffs it gets a little tense, but it always makes for a good show.
Absolutely. And thank you everybody for joining and watching. Thank you to Silver and Saku for casting with me tonight, and Saku as well for opping, of course. And thank you to our, the people that played tonight and were able to come on and interview. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and catch everybody later.
Goodbye.
Are you kidding me? What's that? Playoffs? What's that? You kidding me? What's that? Well, I'll start off by saying this. You ain't gonna beat anybody. A high school team? Anybody. A junior college team? Anybody. A college team? Much less an NFL team. I don't care who you play.